All right. Well, I'll go ahead and get started. So today's webinar is on setting up sponsors and banner ads. This is going to review the modules you can use for allowing people to engage in sponsorships with your website so you can collect funds from that. And then we'll also review some recent changes we've had to the banner ads module. Before we get started, I want to go over a few housekeeping notes. So everyone's mics should be muted. If you have any questions in the meantime, we have Samantha in our chat and she can help answer questions as they come up, or she can answer, save the questions for the end where we will do a bit of a Q&A. This session is being recorded, so it'll be available on our Cool Stuff page on clubexpress.com, and you'll be able to go back and view that recording later on. I'll go ahead and skip over and show you where those are. So when you're on clubexpress.com, the Cool Stuff option is in the top right, and you'll have the webinars option on the left-hand side, and you can click on to see recent webinars. We should have any webinars that are hosted up in a manner of days, and then you can go see all of our webinars hosted on our YouTube channel. We also have a great number of video tutorials that are created by our team. The option directly above webinars will let you view those. Once you're viewing those, if you're on our YouTube channel, go ahead and get subscribed. That'll let you get notified whenever we post new videos and new webinars, so you can stay up to date on changes that we've made to the ClubExpress platform and help you get the most out of your ClubExpress tools. All of our webinars and trainings are on our calendar, where you can go to clubexpress.com and click on calendar to see the upcoming webinars we have and what's in the pipeline, so you can see things a little bit ahead of time. You can also register for our webinars, so you can leave notes and say, you know, I would love to see this demonstrated in our webinar, and we can try to include that in our sessions. If ClubExpress is working well for you, we would love it if you would leave us a review. On clubexpress.com/reviews, we have a few places where you can leave reviews for ClubExpress. So now getting into our webinar today, we'll be reviewing a few things. We're going to be looking at the different sponsorship tools. First, we'll look at setting up banner ads, which is our updated module for banner advertisements that allows you to have the logos of your sponsors that are also links themselves that let you visit your sponsor web pages. And those can be set up a number of ways and included in different places on your website. We'll look at creating a sponsorship page, which is a custom page for sponsors, and you can link to those sponsor websites on those pages manually. We'll also look at setting up events for sponsorship. So if you set up an event and you want to allow people to sponsor that individual event, we will look at a couple of events and different ways you can set those up to allow people to sponsor just that individual event. We'll also be looking at building a sponsorship application using the Hoc Forms module. This will allow you to have a place on your website where people don't necessarily have to be members, or if they're already members, they can fill out a form to say, I would like to become a sponsor for your club. And you can either charge them directly through that ad hoc form or include a question on that form for them to let you know how they would like to pay for their sponsorship. And then the last thing we'll go over is if you have a membership type for sponsors, you can set up a membership type so that people can be sponsors just by being a member of your organization. And we'll also show you how to use your membership, your business directory, to list those sponsor members so that people can log into your website and click on the business directory to see all of the sponsors that are currently working with your organization. So the first thing we're going to be looking at today is our new banner ads module. We're going to create the advertisements, and I'll show you how to insert those in different locations. The first place we will put it is in our new site template. So if any of you watched our recent webinars, you see that we have a new website look and feel tool, and you can insert those banner ads either on the top, bottom, or left or right-hand side of your page. And then I'm also going to show you how to insert those ads just on a single page, be it your home page or a custom page. You'll see this note down here at the bottom, and I'm going to show you how to deal with this. The banner ads module is an advertising module. So if you or a user have ad blocking browser extensions, that will interfere with the banner ads module. I'll show you how to disable that so that you can continue to use the module. So I'm going to go ahead and switch over to my demonstration, which is on my demo club, our familiar Northwest Balloon Club. Okay, so we're on the demo club. This is the Northwest Balloon Club, and I'm logged in as everyone's favorite administrator, Martin Smith. When you are logged into the website and you have the banner advertising module purchased, if you'd like to purchase that module, it is an added cost module. And you can reach out to our support to get updates on pricing and then also enabling that tool. You will find that module under the website tab of your control panel. And if you click on banner advertising, you will see right now we have one set of banner ads in here. So to create a banner advertisement, all we do is hit add panel, and you can give that panel a name and call it active. I've already set one up here called just ads. And right now it has 3 advertisements running on it. You can change the name or deactivate a module by clicking on this pencil. If you'd like to add different sponsors or different advertisements to your website, you can click this 3 image stack icon right here. And this will show you all of your currently running advertisements that are within this panel. So right now we've got Bonnie's Balloon Business, Northwest Party Flights, and Smith Brothers. If I wanted to add an advertisement to this run, I can just hit this little green add button. And this is where we can give it a title. The title is just for you to keep track of things. What people will see will be the image file. So this choose file button right here will allow you to pull images from your computer to then begin advertising with. You also have this URL, and you have to fill in a URL here. And what this URL does is it points to a website. So if you are sponsored by, say ClubExpress, for example, you would put in clubexpress.com. And then when people click on the banner advertisement, it would take them to that website. So for example, right here, I can click on this little eyeball to preview this banner. Of course, the thing I mentioned earlier. So I did want to preview this. So when you have banner advertisings activated, certain things won't load if you have a ad blocker. When I turned on an ad blocker just so I could show you, but I did things a little out of order. So if I click, if you're using Google Chrome, this little puzzle piece up here is where you will find your ad blocking extensions. And right now I have an ad blocker turned on. If I click on it and turn it off for this website, just by clicking this little turn off button and reload the page, now my ads load. So the reason that wasn't showing up is because I had an ad blocker on and it was shutting down anytime I tried to load an advertising picture. So now I can click on these and I will see those icons load because they are advertisements. So I'm going to go ahead and show you one of the ways to add this panel of advertisements to your website. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add it to the bottom of our website, and it'll load on every single page. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to edit my website's look and feel, which is again in the website section of our control panel. And if you see this update notice, this means that you haven't loaded this part of your website since we had our update to the website look and feel. You can simply convert to new system. Note, none of these changes will stick until you save and apply. And again, as I mentioned in our previous webinar, unless you are very sure that what you're looking at is exactly how you want your site to look, don't hit save and apply. If you get to a point where you're confused or things aren't looking the way you want, I would say go ahead and revert and then give our support team a call and they can help you and determine if updating to the new system is what you need. But adding banner advertisements to the new system is actually pretty easy. If we wanted to add a banner ad to our website to the bottom page, we would just click this option right here, which is the bottom section of our website. And now we've got this little edit space down here, this canvas where we can drag and drop rows and content into our website. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and click on row templates and drag a column or a row into here. And this will give me one of my content rows to edit. And I can click on this and I can drag the banner advertising widget. So when you have banner advertisements on, banner advertisements will become one of the widgets you can use in the great list of widgets. And if you want to see more about using this editor, I would recommend viewing our previous webinar, but right now we're going to focus on banner advertising. So if I drag this widget over into this cell, it's going to give me the option to select which advertisements I want to view. And I only have one right now, so I'm going to go ahead and click ads. And it's going to give me 2 options for how I want to display this ad. And I'm going to go ahead and set up both of them so you can see the difference between the 2. So right now, if I do 1 image per load, it's just going to show one of my 3 banner advertisements anytime I load the page. So it would be 1 static image. If I do scrolling left to right, it's going to give me this like scroll bar of ads, kind of like you would see, on Times Square, those like big horizontal ones that just scroll with ever changing media. So if I click scroll left to right and I apply changes, now we'll see here's all of my advertisements scrolling on the page from left to right. All of these are active links. So if I was to click on one of them, it would take me to the page that's associated with it. And if I hover over them, the scrolling will stop. And if I stop hovering, it'll keep going. If I was to change this module to one image per load and apply that change, it's going to give me one image that is an image link in this page. And if I was to reload this page, it would choose a different one at random. An important note is that it is a random selection. So every time you load the page, it'll choose a random advertisement. There is not a sequence of every time the page is loaded, it shows the next and the next. It's always going to just pull a random advertisement to load into the page. So that is how you insert banner advertisements into the template builder. So if I go ahead and switch this back to my scrolling left to right bar, and then I hit save and close. Now at the bottom of my website, I have this scrolling bar of advertisements. And so if I have these three sponsors, always at the bottom of my website, I'll have these three scrolling options down at the bottom of my website. If I wanted to insert banner advertisements into a single page instead of always across our entire website, I can go ahead and exit out of this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add banner advertisements to my homepage. So instead of going to website look and feel, I can come up here to my homepage. And I can say, I'm going to edit the main version of my homepage. And if I wanted it to be at the top of the page, now when you edit a homepage or a custom page with banner advertisements, that means those ads will only load when people are on that page. If they navigate to a different part of the website, then the banner advertisement won't show up. But just like before, I can click here and choose to drag my banner advertising widget. I can select which panel I want to show, and I have the same tools and it works exactly the same. And now I have these running across. And if I preview this page, we'll see I now have my home page and these ads are running across the top of my homepage. And this is a way you can give benefits to people that sponsor your organization so that they can get a little bit more visibility on your website. Something I do want to show you, if I turn my ad blocker back on for this page, and I wanted to add a banner advertisement to my page, while my ad blocker is on and I drag this banner ad, it's not going to load. What's happening is my ad blocker is stopping me from loading this widget because it registers this as an ad. So if you're an administrator and you see this loading icon and it's not working, I would double check that you have no ad blockers enabled for your website, and turning those off right here. Now my widget loads. So that's something that just to keep an eye on, to make sure that if you're running into issues like that, you can come in here, turn that ad blocker off, and suddenly your widget is going to work. So the next thing I wanted to show you was if you have sponsors for your organization, you may want to set up an entire page just for information about your sponsors. I've gone ahead and done that here, and I want to show you how I created that and how you can keep that updated with ongoing information. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this sponsors page that I added to our menu. And it's a very simple page. And right here, what I've done is I have gold sponsors and silver sponsors. I don't have anyone under silver sponsors right now. I'm going to walk through how I added that. But as you can see, I've created an image link. So if I was to click on this image, it's a hyperlink and it'll take me to whatever page I have chosen to link it to. And I'll show you how to do that in just a second. But I've also chosen to add a Facebook and Twitter update so that people can see what this sponsor is up to. So this is right now, I'm just using the ClubExpress Facebook and the ClubExpress Twitter. But if you wanted to, you could have, Jim's Balloons Facebook page. And so people could see what Jim's Balloons are up to at a glance and see if there's anything going on that they want to interact with. And they can also click on this hyperlink to go straight to that Facebook page. Same with Twitter. They can click on their handle to go, and they can also see all of the tweets. And this is just a way to at a glance, give your members a bit of a view to see what your sponsors are up to, and also provide value to your sponsors and encourage people to sponsor your organization. So if we wanted to create another panel like this for another sponsor, what I would do is I can come over to the right-hand side over here and click our little pop-out gray tool and choose to edit this page. And again, I'm going to choose to edit the main version. And what I would do, let's say we had a new silver sponsor sign up. We could drag another panel, another row over here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag a link. And I can say, I want this link to go to an external page. And the external page is going to let me link to whatever website that our sponsor is. So let's say if we were sponsored by ClubExpress, we would just put in clubexpress.com. And then the link type we would choose is image. And once we do that, we can select image. And this is our normal image selector that works on any part of the site. And we can say show files, and we can either upload a new file from our computer if we have their sponsor logo on our computer, or if we have the logo already uploaded, we can select right here, choose the logo from the list of photos we have updated, say select, and save. And now we have an image that links to clubexpress.com. And then also to get our social media links going, we can click on this content area and we have the option to pull in our Facebook. And we can say whatever height we want. I usually go with somewhat square to keep the media from getting too tall. And then same with Twitter, we can just drag in this information. And now, once again, we've got our organization that's sponsoring us, and then we've got their updated Facebook information and their Twitter information. Updating those is as simple as just changing the link. So you would go to their Facebook page, copy their URL and paste it in there. And then the same is for Twitter. If you click on the blank space in that tool, you can put in whatever their Twitter handle is right here, and you can even test it out and apply it. And it will show you whatever their most recent Twitter feed is. So that's how you would add the information and image links to a page. You can do this on your home page. You can do this anywhere on your site. If you wanted to just add links to your sponsors, this process would be exactly the same for the homepage if you're creating links to your sponsors on your homepage. This way you can update the information that members can see when they're logging into your site to interact with your sponsors, and again, provide value and encourage people to sign up for sponsors in your organization. So I'll go ahead and save that. And now if I click on my sponsors page, there we've got our new sponsor. There's their logo that is clickable. And then we also have a Facebook feed and a Twitter feed. The next thing I wanted to show you, if you are running events for your organization through ClubExpress, one of the really powerful tools you can do for obtaining sponsors, if you're needing event sponsors to help with the manage the costs of an event you're putting on, you can ask for sponsors straight in the registration for that event. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to our control panel and go to our website tab and click on events. And I have set up 2 events that allow for sponsorships. So the first one I'm going to walk through is just a standard single event. This is the most common type of events that are run on ClubExpress. And it's a very simple event. I haven't done anything particularly special. In registrations, you need to make sure that you are requiring registrations so that way people can register for your event. And once you set that up under the Who Can Register section of the event creation, I have added an extras type of sponsorship. So right here, I have event sponsor. The registration type is everyone, and the fee is whatever you're charging for sponsorship. It doesn't have to be, $2,000. It could be, $50. You could, whatever you want to request from people that are registering for this event. Another interesting thing is you could set up multiple types. So right now I just have one event sponsor, but if I wanted to allow for different levels, I could say, I'm allowing for a gold sponsor, and that is, 500, and I can add this, and then maybe this event sponsor at this price is more of a, say, platinum sponsorship. So I can edit this and I can say platinum sponsor, and I would save, I would update that. And now my platinum sponsorship is $2,000. My gold sponsor is $500. And I can continue to add different sponsorship levels. And what that looks like for your members, if we come back to our event and click on this eyeball right here, when someone registers, so if I click on register now, they can choose, I'm just going to select any member. Those options will be available to that member to say, I want to register for this event as a gold sponsor or as a platinum sponsor. And then they would pay that price to register for the event. And your organization would then have those funds to help put on your event. An important note for single activity events, if you do sponsorships like this, if you only have space for, say, one platinum sponsor, you couldn't necessarily limit the availability of this sponsorship type, but that we do have that ability if we are doing a multi-activity event. So that's the next event I'm going to show you. So now if I go back to my events page, I have this larger event, and now this is set up as a multiple activity event. So when you are setting up an event in the basic info, you can choose to set the event up as there's an option at the top in your basic info that allows you to set up an event as a multiple activity event. And the registration fees and who can register will be mostly the same, but the difference is under who can register, we can just leave who can register as whatever normal registration types you offer to people. What we would change is the activities that people can register for. So for this event, I'm pretending like I have some balloon rides and a picnic going on, but I also have the gold and silver sponsors set up here. So when I set everyone can register, what I can do is I can set different prices for different activities. So I can say everyone can register for the balloon ride, and the balloon ride is $25. Right here, I would choose everyone and enter $25 and hit add. And this would allow people to register for our balloon ride, but the same can be true for our sponsorship. So everyone can register as a sponsor. And now everyone can register, but the price of a gold sponsorship is again, $2,000. And that would help you fund putting on your event. But the nice thing about that is if you only have space for, say, 2 or 3 gold sponsors, in this section right here, the registration and fees of our activity, we can go in here and say, limit the capacity of this sponsorship. We can only accept 2 sponsorships at this level, but maybe we can accept, 10 silver sponsorships. And now once people register for this event, they'll have the option to be a gold sponsor and register. But once you have 2 gold sponsorships, registration for that activity will shut off without shutting off registration for the rest of the event. Additionally, this allows people to register for the event and choose to go on a balloon ride, but while also still being a sponsor for the event. So if I was going to go register for this event, I can say I'm signing up a member, and I can choose the registration type is still everyone. But on our activity selection page, we can choose to say, I am attending the picnic, which is free. I would like to go on a balloon ride, but I can still also be a gold level sponsor. And then I can pay for all of those things. I can still pay for my balloon ride. I can pay for my picnic, and I can also pay for being a sponsor, and my total price will be there. So I'm paying for both of these all at the same time. The last thing I wanted to note on a multiple activity event is when you're setting up your activities, you can allow people to see what is being purchased with their gold sponsorship by putting it in the description of that event. So in this section of the activity right here, basics, you can click on this, and in the description, you can put what they will get for their sponsorship. So for example, if you sign up as a gold sponsor, they're going to put your logo on a balloon that's going to fly at this event. But if you only sign up as a silver sponsor, the logo will just be displayed at the picnic. And people will see that before they register. If you go to our event through our calendar, in the details of the different sponsorships, you'll see your logo will be on a balloon. Your logo will be shown at the picnic. And this lets people see what they're getting for different sponsorship levels and also view pricing so that they can discuss it with their organization and say, hey, is this sponsorship worth it for us? And this is also where they can see how many how many spots are left for different types of sponsorship so that your organization can get funding without, say, going over and suddenly you need to accommodate, a dozen gold sponsors. A nice problem to have, but. So the next thing I wanted to show you is how to actually reach out to people and have them become sponsors. How do you engage with sponsors and have them join? So one way we like to encourage people to reach out to sponsorships is by offering a form that people can fill in to become a sponsor. And the way you create a form is through our module called Hoc Forms, which is under the communications section of our control panel. And right here we have Hoc Forms. So if I search for our forms right now, we have a become a sponsor form. And what we can do is when you're creating the form, there's two ways you can collect funds for this. You can either collect the funds right up front. So if you only have one or a few different sponsorship levels and all of their pricing is the same, you can actually create a form. You can create a gold sponsor form and a silver sponsor form. And you can actually charge people for filling out this form. And so when they submit the form, it will go ahead and create a charge for whatever amount you enter here. And filling out that form will charge them. And then you can go ahead and proceed from there with collecting funds for their sponsorship and then, acting on whatever they purchase, be it, a balloon with their logo on it or just putting their logo on your site as we showed earlier. Once we create and save our form, an important thing is to add a contact person. So right now we have Martin Smith logged as our contact person, and we have this notify on completion so that when someone fills out this form and pays for it, Martin Smith gets a notification email saying, hey, someone filled out to become a sponsor form, so that Martin can reach out to them and then discuss what sponsorship entails and how they can get up to speed on their new sponsorship. When you're creating a form, you can set any questions you'd like to ask in that form right here in this second icon with the question mark. In the form, you can ask things like sponsorship level. So I've set up, a couple different levels of sponsorship. This is if you didn't want to, if you set the dollar value for your form to be $0 and you're going to collect those funds a different way, be it a check or some other method of direct payment, you can give people the options within this form to select which sponsorship level they would like to choose. An important note is once you create an ad hoc form, the price can't be changed. So in this form, right now we have the price set at $2,000. Nothing they do within the form will change the price of filling out this form. So if we wanted to actually collect this information and then charge them accordingly, we would take the price out of the ad hoc form and have them fill in the form and then collect payment from them after the fact. Normal important information that we like to collect from people is, say the sponsor name, so ClubExpress. You can also collect things like the sponsor website. So if you're creating a question where you're asking for a sponsor website, there is a question type called formatted text. And when you select the question type formatted text, you can choose different types of formats, be it an email address or a phone number, but one of our options is web address URL. And this will mean that the only valid answer to this question is a valid URL, be it clubexpress.com. If someone just types in ClubExpress and then tries to submit it, it'll tell them that's not a valid answer. It needs to be some sort of .com so that you know what they want to put as the target for, say, their banner advertisement. You can also just collect, primary contract info. An important thing to collect from sponsors if you're going to be using the banner advertisements tool is their logo. So instead of having to go to their website and copy their logo or some way, you can ask them to attach a document or an image to this ad hoc form. So if I go and edit, there is an option where we say attachments for this form. You can choose yes and then say include attachments with the emails, meaning when someone fills this form out, the email that goes to the contact person will include whatever they attach to it. And upon saying, yes, you'd like to collect attachments, this icon right here, this little attachment paperclip is going to appear. And you can click on this to say, I need to collect any type of document. So if you needed to collect, some sort of financial documents from them, or just a PDF about their organization, or even just a sponsorship logo, you can say what you need to collect and say whether or not it's required to submit the form. And then once someone fills out the form, it's going to have a section on the form for them to upload some sort of attachment to that form. So if I save this, right now I have my form in test mode as a status. When I set something to test mode, I will have this eyeball where that means I can take this form myself without actually submitting real information. So clicking this eyeball will let me preview the form that I've created. So right now I can say the sponsorship level I'm selecting is, say, gold sponsor. My sponsor name, this is the organization I'm with, is ClubExpress. The sponsor website is where I can plug in, and then I can also enter my contact information. And you'll see down here at the bottom, this is where that attachment option is. And so it says the attachment is the sponsorship logo. It's not required. Has it been uploaded yet? No. And if I click this upload icon right here, it'll browse my computer for me to upload the logo for my organization, so that now this Northwest Balloon Club will have my ClubExpress logo to use in their banner advertisements or on a custom page, or even blow it up and slap it on a balloon at some sort of event. If I submit this form, once I submit the form, if I was not in test mode and submit that form, it would then immediately ask me for payment, because I have set this form to be to request payment of that much for filling out this form. If I wanted to collect payment afterwards, this is where I would change this to 0. And then submitting that form would not request payment. The last form of sponsorship I want to show is if you have sponsor memberships, and also using those sponsor memberships in the business directory. So if we go to our control panel and go to the People tab, there is a place in the People tab called Member Types, and this is where you can define what types of members that your organization has. So most people have, family memberships, monthly memberships, but you can also create membership types here for sponsors, so that when they sign up for a membership on your site, one of the options for signing up for membership is actually being a sponsor member. And this way you collect all of their membership information as normal, but they can also do things like interact with the website as a member themselves. And so when you're creating a sponsor membership type, all you have to do is create a membership type as normal. The only difference would be give it a sponsor name, and then the price of the membership would be however much it costs for sponsorship of your organization at whatever level you'd like to enter. Another option is if your organization is looking for, say, more regular support instead of annual sums, you can control the duration. And so if I wanted to create, say, a monthly sponsorship, I could change this to, say, a monthly sponsor. And for this one, I can say the duration is 1 month and the fee is however much I want to collect monthly. And this way it'll ask them to renew their sponsorship every month by month. And that way they can come in and update their sponsorship every month. And that way you can keep track of who is currently a sponsor just by searching for sponsor members and seeing who is currently active. And those are the sponsors you need to be featuring at the moment. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how to keep track of your sponsor members. So if we go to our control panel and we go to our People Manager, if we are looking for sponsor members, what we can do is, instead of searching for member status, we can search for member type. So change this filter to member type, and we'll get a dropdown of all of our currently available membership types. And I can say I'm looking for all of my current sponsors, and hit search. And this will show me right now I have 2 different sponsors, and they are both currently active. So I know right now I should be sponsoring Jim's Balloons and Betsy's Ballooning School. So those are the advertisements I should have active. Another thing you can do with sponsor membership types is use our built-in business directory. So right now I have my business directory listed up here. If you set up your business directory, you can, in the options of business directory controls, control what membership types. So right here, I have those 2 membership types I set up, gold and monthly, and I could limit my business directory to only my sponsors. And so that people who pay for sponsorships are the ones that are listed in our business directory. And so when we go to our business directory and we have those boxes checked and we search, right now it's only going to show members who have both filled in their business directory and are set up as sponsorship. So here's our Jim's Balloon sponsor and their information to reach out to them. So this is another way you can have your site be valuable to sponsors. And if you did want to change it from business directory, I have seen people before, you can actually control the name of this module by clicking on this configure option right here. And if we go to our business directory, you can change the name from business directory to sponsors. And now instead of a business directory, this is our sponsor directory, and this is who will show up in our sponsors. So there's a number of ways you can have your site be valuable to your sponsors and have engagement with your members to your sponsorship, or even just the public that visits your website engage with your sponsors. I'm going to go ahead and toss it over to a bit of a Q&A. Sam, did we have any good questions?
Yes, we had a couple. So I'll start with one. You kind of touched on it a little bit. Do you have any size recommendations for the banner ads that they might ask for from their sponsors?
So the advertisements, it's going to automatically scale the images so that they're not too large or too small. I would definitely recommend nothing larger than about 1080p. So that's, keep it under 2000 pixels wide and under, 1500 pixels tall. If you have anything larger than that, it can sometimes cause your website to load a little slowly because it's trying to load a large number of very high resolution images. Normally the sweet spot is about between 500 to 1000 pixels, both wide and tall. And you usually want to keep those logos as close to square or roughly rectangular as possible. You don't want anything super wide or super tall, or else they can sometimes come out looking a little bit weird.
And another question, and this goes back to something that you had mentioned early on regarding the ad blocker. So someone had asked, what happens if their members or non-members are using ad blockers? Would that affect the way that they see banner advertising? And is there a way that as an administrator, you can control that?
So at the moment, the advertising module is just that. It is a module that displays advertisements. So it is going to get caught by ad block tools. And so if a user or non-member visits your website with an ad blocker enabled, it will suppress those advertisements. At the moment, we are talking to our developers about having some sort of optional pop-up where people can, get a notice saying, hey, you have an ad blocker on, maybe consider turning that off. It's not something that we have at the moment, but it's something that we are talking to development about.
Okay. And could you take a little field trip to the ClubExpress pricing page so that we can show folks where they can find the most up-to-date pricing information for the module?
Absolutely. So this is clubexpress.com. The current pricing for banner advertisements and all of our extra cross functions can be found right here under our pricing tool, under extra cross functions. And banner advertising, we can see, is currently set at $300, and that is a one-time fee, meaning once you pay for that, you have the module for life. So that is the current price of banner advertising right there. You can also see the prices for the rest of our extra cost modules here on this page.
And another question that came in, if a sponsor fills out one of the ad hoc forms that you created to be a sponsor, does the system automatically assign them as a sponsor member, or is that something that administrators would have to do on their own?
So that is something you can allow members to fill in that form. But the form does not add them as a member automatically. That is something an administrator would have to do. Normally, we would do it one way or the other. You would either have people fill out that form. So again, you would either have people fill out this ad hoc form by linking to it somewhere on your website, or you would have people request to be a sponsor by becoming a gold sponsor member. Because the two forms can be very similar, and you can actually include any questions you would ask in that form as additional member data that you can ask specifically to sponsors as well, including things like, logo uploading and what type of sponsorship you want to gain or things of that sort. Those are two different ways you can engage with sponsors. Some people like to have their sponsors be members. Some people prefer to have their sponsors not be members on their website. And in that case, you would use the ad hoc form to collect information from your sponsors without having them sign up for membership.
And another question that came through, does using the ad hoc form add that form filler to a specific mailing list category?
So yes, you can actually control this. When you are creating a form, there is a section in our basic information for our form called mailing list category. And you can either have them traditionally by default, they will be an ad hoc form responder, and that is the mailing list they will get added to. If you would like to have a special form, like sponsor form mailing list you want to send to, you can go to your control panel, still under the communication section, under mailing list categories. And that sponsor category I'm using is one I actually just created a couple of days ago. You can hit add category and then choose sponsors. You just type in sponsors and save. And then anywhere on your site, be it for an event, you can even do this for event activities. So if someone sponsors an event activity, you can say people who register for that activity get added to this mailing list. Or for that ad hoc form, you can say, I want them to get added to the sponsors mailing form. And then when you're using the emailing tool, you can target people that are a member of that category, and they will get that email, be it non-member or member.
Okay. Doesn't look like we have any questions that have come in. We'll give it another minute to see if anyone has anything that they think of. Of course, the questions don't have to stop here. You can always give our support team a call or email them with any follow-up questions that you might have.
All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and end this meeting. Thank you all for coming to this webinar. I really appreciate it. And keep an eye out. We're doing 2 more webinars this month instead of just the 2 per month. And our upcoming webinars next week and the following week are on the another added cost feature we have called the continuing education module, where you can track the added education that your members have received. All right. Thank you everyone for coming, and I hope you all have a great rest of your day.